This is Rahu and Ketu in focus. My name is Aurélie. I'm a Vedic astrologer, and I'm going to be talking to you about some of the traditional interpretation and meanings of the nodes of the moon. One of the first things to understand is that Rahu and Ketu are not planets. They're mathematical points. So in this way, that's the reason why we call them shadow planets, because they're elusive. They're mathematical points. Now, those points are related to the oscillation of the moon, which gives us the point of the eclipses, which is why twice a year we have eclipses. And twice a year, these eclipses take place when the sun is with Rahu or when the sun is with Ketu. So you can follow along throughout the year. Right now, as we're talking, it's May 2026. The sun is in sidereal Taurus. And Ketu is slowly heading to Cancer, but right now Ketu is in Leo. Which means that about 2-3 months in August, right now is May, so June, July, August, in 3 months, it will take for the sun to travel, and then we will have a sun Ketu eclipse and a full moon lunar eclipse with the other nodes, Rahu. Now, in the ancient traditions, the traditional understanding is that the gods were drinking the nectar of immortality, and a demon slipped through and found a way to disguise itself and was able to drink some of that nectar of immortality, and it was found out. And so the head and the body of this demon was cut in half, and this is why the connotation and the understanding that Rahu is the head without a body and Ketu is the body without a head comes from. And that is why in Jyotish we always read both of them together. They're a lot more integrated when we're looking at the nose. It's an axis. Rahu is always opposite Ketu, and we often always interpret that Ketu is kind of what is able to set free the issues that Rahu are causing. So oftentimes we'll be looking at what's happening with Ketu, where Ketu is placed, and how we can move past obstacles when Rahu is locking things or making difficulties for us in life. So Rahu and Ketu are shadow planets, or mathematical points. They're not actually planets. All the Vedic astrologers are always trained to come to Rahu and Ketu and just say, be very humble, because Ketu can show hidden things. They're very difficult to read, and they can hide things in the same way that eclipses have this very transformative energy, very potent energy, but they can also be very chaotic and they can hide things. So we always say, if Rahu is in someone's lagna, in someone's first house, that we should say a prayer to be humble, because it's like Rahu is there to kind of not really show things fully. There's a bit of an aspect of some shadows being there, and it's very hard for us to read really strongly when that happens. And I've often seen little mistakes or things here and there not being, over time, especially with clients and friends who have this Rahu and Ketu really present in their charts. Now, Rahu is said to expand, multiply. It has this intensity. It's this head that's without the body. Relation of Rahu being this head without a body, which is why when it eats, it's like it doesn't have a stomach. It doesn't feel anything. It's just kind of bodiless. It's like, so there's this obsessive quality to it. Now, sometimes that can be channeled for good things. Sometimes it can be a difficulty in life. Always in Vedic tradition, we teach a very balanced view that some combinations can be good for certain things. Some people have a way to always be looking for problems. They'll be amazing doctors. You come to them and they're just running in their head for all the problems that are there. But when they go home to their wives, you don't want to, it's hard, okay? When everyone, the only thing someone's looking at is picking all the little things, So in this way, Rahu has this obsessive quality, which sometimes can be for useful and can propel things forward, and sometimes can be a real badaka, real obstacles. Now, talking about obstacles, Ketu, which is the opposite. It's the body without the head. So Ketu can just be like not thinking through things, very disconnected, has this sense of disconnection. Ketu has this spiritual connection, but depending on how it is, how it is connected, where it is connected. It can show a connection to some other world, some spirit world, but sometimes it's like it could be a connection that's very enriching and very good for you and doesn't cause trouble, or it can be something that's giving you nightmares, or it can just kind of push you to rent places that are have very bad energy and negative energy. It can kind of, it has this where it's like could go, we talked about being humble and hard to read, so Ketu has definitely this way. And we always say, yes, Ketu is deeply spiritual, but it also has the sense of the hidden. So of course, spirituality and of the things of the hidden, the mantras, the special practices, those are all of the hidden knowledge. But also of the hidden can be thieves, people who do things, not nice, not right, who hide things away. So sometimes that's why we'll see, those great spiritual teachers who end up being not very proper. Here or there, there's things hidden. That's very Rahu Ketu influences. Okay, so again, we talked about this kind of sense of eclipses have this unexpected, like complete, like things coming up that's just like and so Rahu and Ketu has that energy within them, okay? Now, Ketu does rule over this ascension, this letting go. Ketu will make you very wanting to renounce. Like wherever it is, it will be something that you want to renounce. It could be a family member. If Ketu is associated with your second house, or your second lord, which represent family, it will make you want to kind of cut cords, or at some point, have the separation with family. There's the separation energy. It has the Shunya energy. When it's associated with certain divisional charts, it can show that even if you have a good business and it's running well, it always ends up at zero. Shunya will be this like constant zero balance. Doesn't mean that something isn't successful, it's not smart, it's not good doing well, it's just like always ends up being Shunya, always ends up being the zero. Now in meditation, it's amazing. It just makes you go into this like release and emptiness, and it's a very beautiful thing in the journey of meditation. But and again, we talked about things being good for one thing for another, in your business, in some other aspects of life, in your bank account, you don't want the Shunya. Yeah, we want good Jupiterian abundance, all right? Now, another thing we should be aware is that when we are trained in the Vedic tradition, we don't look at combinations that involve Rahu and Ketu without doing special mantras when we're studying these combinations, whether it's a Mars-Ketu combination, Saturn-Ketu. These are all kind of have this aspect. We talked about a relation with like other worlds, sometimes like presences that can it bother you and things like that. We always do protection mantras. We always have special practices that we integrate in our lives so that we're keeping safe, in the same way that in the Vedic tradition it's always recommended to not go and look at the eclipses, because we don't want that energy, the eclipse energy of shadows, things being hidden, shunya, all of that. Except for meditation, of course, if we're doing our practice and praying. Yes, but otherwise, in our we need, in our day-to-day life, what we aspire and pray for is like goodness, that we're good, honest. Jupiter's sun energy is really strong. There's another aspect of how Rahu and Ketu are interpreted, is that they weaken the sun and the moon. And because we talked about eclipses, so it has an aspect of weakening the sun and the moon in your life. And both of those, these are the planets we definitely need for our wellness and doing well in the world, okay? And obviously, if you're complete sadhu, if you're at a monastery, different rules apply, because you're not, it's fine that there is nothing on your bank account, whether you don't need to pay your water bill. You don't have 5 kids, that are hungry, that they're going to need to go to school, they're going to need doctors. Like, it's just, they need to be fed and loved and cleaned and all of the good stuff. So in this way, all right. So we went into Rahu and Ketu and this kind of obsessive thing and the letting go thing. And so in your day-to-day life, what's interesting is that in transit, wherever Rahu or Ketu is, it's going to show where the eclipses are going to take place that year and where things are getting a little shaken up as the years go by. So that's always like a transit to look out for and just be aware of, you know, and make peace. All right. Now, in general, love, romance is really not associated in any ways with Rahu or Ketu, except when there is a strong tie with Venus or your seventh lord. Then of course we'll talk about relationship. But otherwise, it's really not that. It has no significators of that. Rahu gives you a really strong sense of foreign things. It has this foreign aspect that's very strong. So if it is an association with a planet that's showing relationships, and it will show a foreigner, someone who's from a different religion, different country, very different, a very foreign aspect to them, that will be your partner. And potentially, if it's associated with other things, it could show that you can make money in foreign places. Maybe you do live somewhere foreign, you have the strong energy that's calling you to foreign places, or like me, you'll be studying a foreign, I'm Swiss. I study Indian, Vedic tradition, Sanskrit. And so all of that is like this foreign influence on my Jupiter, right? On my Jupiterian life, which is my religious spiritual studies and guru. So in this way, yes, Rahu will have the foreigner aspect very strongly associated. And Rahu has a way, so we say like Rahu is very air in nature. It's as airy in nature, and it can make you, we talked about being the head without the body, so this overthinking, this head, it gives anxiety. It gives anxiety, overthinking, and worrying about things, and overly ruminating, and that like internal torture a little bit. So that's definitely a significator when it's influencing the moon or the first house. Rahu and Ketu. That's a really interesting thing. Can lock your fortune until you reach a certain age. And Saturn can do that too. Saturn will reach maturity, will allow for things to open up when you turn 36, which is, you'll see it with your friends. You'll see people turn 36 and like suddenly the relationship comes, and then Ketu locks things in until 42. And again, I can tell you, you will see some of your friends that will be the lock for their children and their marriage, and at 42, like it all comes just at once within like a year. And so there's, and Rahu kind of locks things in more until 45 later on in life. That doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that nothing happens in your life, but it means that certain aspects are a little bit stuck within the axis, because the way, you know, Rahu and Ketu are always traveling seventh from each other, so in some combinations they are known to lock certain things away until later on in life. Okay, but those 36, the 42, that will really show up. And the big one where it's kind of easier to see it show up is for women having kids much later on in their lives. Now we talked about Rahu. Rahu has this obsessive energy. It can sometimes also give excessive. It can give excessive wealth. It can give excessive, and we talked about being a wild card because we said it's eclipses. So eclipses is like the wild card energy, and people who have this like Rahu in the first house, they'll be like the wild card. You know, your wild card friend. You like call them and you're like, where are you? And one day they're, I don't know, doing a trek in like South America, and next day they'll be like, no, I'm back in Europe and I started a business. It just like has this little bit impulsive, very impulsive wild card energy, which is, you know, the eclipse can be like that. And Ketu just wants to get rid of everything. Just be done with this world. Just let go. Just like go into the emptiness. Be into the side of the eclipse that goes in, and like let's go. There's a release. Yeah, spiritual aspiration and release. Okay. All right, so these are some of the important aspects of Rahu and Ketu. I really wanted to talk a little bit, just as a Jyotishi, some of the things that are related, connected with Rahu and Ketu, since I hear a lot of interesting, I don't want to speak badly, I'll just say I hear interesting interpretation, and I think respect is important in the astrology world. So treat each other always with respect and kindness. And so, yes, we'll say interesting interpretations. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video, this little Rahu Ketu crash course. And I have a beautiful class online that you can study. It's really cool, actually. It will take you through your Dharma Devata. It will take you through your chart to show you this aspect of life that is called Dharma Devata, which is the guided, the like shining star. It's like the kind of guardian angel energy in your life, and how to activate it, and what you can do to activate it, what elements is related to it. I will take you through a journey to find it, and it's you don't need to know astrology. I'll just guide you through pulling up your chart. I'll guide you through looking for your Dharma Devata, and then you can find the interpretation of what that means for you. And it's kind of a cool little course, class. So it's online. You can take it on your own time. And we'll talk soon. Take care. I run a newsletter. Sign up to the newsletter. Stay close. It's going to restart soon. We're going to be relaunching. I've had a lot going on in my personal life, so I've had to take some time to take care of everything, but we're getting close to having things taken care of, so that's good. All right, I'm sending you much love, and take it easy on the Rahu and Ketu, and stay grounded, and I hope you have a beautiful month of May and June. Take care.